My children are trying to kill me. Chris and Cameron Ervin, 17 and 22 years old.
How did they try and kill you, ma'am?
They're trying to strangle us and shoot us, and they put Xanax in our food. I guess they assume they want the insurance money.
You remember what happened after that? What happened to your face right there?
I got hit with a gun.
Who did that?
I have no idea.
So, okay, tell me about what happened yesterday. What did you do yesterday?
Yesterday, what did I do yesterday?
Becoming a parent can be both an exhilarating and scary experience. We often carry high expectations of how we want our children to be raised, from the foods they're fed, schools they attend, and even the company that they keep. However cliche the quote, "There is no manual on how to be a perfect parent," is, many of us still try to become the blueprint by giving our children what we consider as the ideal upbringing. But there is no such thing as perfect, and sometimes less is more, especially when it comes to nurturing our offspring. Because even with the most careful planning and extravagant lifestyle, some children are still willing to commit the unthinkable and repay their parents in blood. A little before 8 a.m. on September 5th, 2015, 50-year-old Yvonne Ervin made a frantic call to 911 from the master bedroom of her home, begging the operator to send law enforcement to help her and her husband Zachary. Throughout the 6-minute phone conversation, Yvonne told dispatchers that both she and her husband were asleep in their home, located in Snellville, Georgia, when they were awakened to being smothered with pillows, viciously beaten with the butt of a gun, and strangled. Her husband distracted the men, which allowed her to be able to run to her bedroom, lock the door, and call the police. When the operator asked Yvonne if she had any idea who the suspects were, she identified the couple's 2 youngest children, sons 22-year-old Christopher Ervin and 17-year-old Cameron Ervin. The operator could hear a male voice come into the room and ask, "Who are you talking to?" Then the phone would abruptly disconnect.
Gwinnett County 911, what's the location of the emergency?
Yes, a place and someone to my house. My children are trying to kill me.
What do you mean that your children are trying to kill you?
They've attacked me and my husband. They drugged us with Xanax. And they've attacked us. And they're trying to kill us.
Okay, so
My husband has distracted them, and I was just able to get to the phone. Please hurry.
just down the phone with me, okay? How old are the children?
They're 22 and 17. Please send someone out as quick as possible, please.
They're on their way, ma'am, okay? Just down the phone with me. Are you in your room?
Yes, I am, but I don't know if they're going to find me.
What room are you in?
I'm in my top upstairs bedroom.
And the children are still in the garage?
Yes, they're trying to attack my husband. I don't know.
Do you hear what's going
They
on?
have a shotgun. We have a shotgun and a pistol in the house, and I can't find my pistol, so I'm assuming they've taken it, and they have his shotgun. I don't know why they've done this. I really don't. I guess they assume they want the insurance money. I'm not sure. Please hurry, please.
All right, they're on their way, okay?
Okay.
Would you like me to stay on the phone with you, ma'am?
Sure you can. Let me try and lock my bedroom door.
Yeah, I want you to lock your door, okay?
I just heard them say, "Where did Mom go?" They headed upstairs now.
Hello?
The police are on their way. It's on their way.
A few moments later, police would arrive on the scene and be greeted by the couple's oldest son, Christopher, who was sitting outside of the family's home with a face covered in scratches. He would be immediately handcuffed and placed in police custody. His battered father would emerge from the home next, stumbling out of the family's garage, covered in blood, with numerous stab wounds and bruises to his head and torso. Law enforcement radioed for medics to treat Zachary, then proceeded to enter the home, where they immediately noticed a strong smell of gas permeating throughout the residence. The Ervin's youngest son, Cameron, would eventually be found inside, covered in blood, with Yvonne being discovered a short while later in her bedroom, also bloody and bruised. At the hospital, doctors would count over 10 stab wounds to Zachary's upper torso, as well as bruising from when he was hit with the shotgun. And although Yvonne suffered bruising to her head and neck, she was able to provide police with a statement from her hospital bed. She would recall that the night before, Cameron asked his parents if he could hang out with his friends, but they told him no. A little while later, he and his brother offered to serve their parents dinner, which Yvonne admitted was a rare occurrence, but they all ate and had a seemingly good night. After a while, her and her husband started to feel dizzy, so they retired to bed. A few hours later, she would be awakened to Cameron smothering her face with a pillow, and then he began to beat her in the head with the butt of her husband's shotgun. Zachary would also later recall a similar story about the night's events, but says after he was awakened to being smothered, he began to fight back. And once Cameron realized that he wouldn't be able to overpower his dad, he ran to his father's closet to get the shotgun and started beating him in the head with it. Zachary would flee the room with Cameron following close behind him, and once he caught up to his dad, he would begin to repeatedly stab him in the upper torso. Even with all of his injuries, Zachary would make it to the garage, get in his car, and lay on the horn in an attempt to grab a neighbor's attention. Unfortunately, he would begin to go in and out of consciousness until he eventually passed out. Both Yvonne and Zachary would be released a few days later, with neither sustaining any permanent physical damage. Down at the precinct, both Christopher and Cameron were placed in separate interrogation rooms, and with surveillance cameras rolling, both brothers would give statements of the events that had played out that night. Christopher would say that after their parents went to bed, that he and Cameron turned on the gas in the fireplace, lit a few tea-light candles throughout the house, and sat outside, waiting for the house to blow up, with their sleeping parents in it. The pair had gotten the idea for the explosion, ironically, based off of their parents' favorite show, the Tyler Perry show, The Haves and Have-Nots. When the house fell to ignite into flames, the brothers decided it was too late to turn back and attempted to execute the murders by any means necessary.
Can you tell us what happened?
We just wanted to blow the house up. Start over the house, Ervin, and so many bad things.
Mm-hmm.
Blow the house up and start over. But it didn't work. We waited all night and it didn't work. And then we were like, well, the whole house smells like gasoline. And there's candles that kind of burn the carpet in certain places.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to explain this? And it was like, well, it's too late now. I don't know if you watch The Haves and the Have-Nots. It's a show. It's a show on one of the characters burned her house down. That's kind of why I got the idea for the video.
That's where you got it from.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily where I got it from, but
You just saw it once.
I just saw it, and it's my parents' favorite show.
Really?
It's their favorite show. They watch it every Tuesday. Like, they sit together, they come home early on Tuesday so they can watch the show. And I was like, Cameron, they watch the haves and the have-nots, bro. They're gonna know we tried to burn down the house. What do we do?
I heard something about there was Xanax in the food or something like that, or is that not true?
Xanax in the food. I don't know what you're talking about.
So it all just started falling apart. You guys panicked.
Yes, sir.
If you could just kind of tell us real quick what happened this morning after it didn't work out in the gun thing. Did they just start?
After it didn't work out, we were gonna go up there and tell them that somebody broke into the house and we needed to get out. But then it didn't seem like a very believable idea. So we were like, we kind of already started this. We gotta finish it.
But you're not bad guys, though. I can tell that you're not.
It wasn't supposed to be. It was not supposed to be like that.
Meanwhile, Cameron would provide more detailed information of the events, saying that the night before, when he and his dad argued, Christopher calmed him down, but while he was trying to sleep, hours later he was still angry and went into his parents' room, attempted to smother his father, and then they fought and he beat him with the gun.
And we understand how bad everything feels right now. Is there something we could get you? And just so you know, when you came here, your parents were okay. I mean, they're going to be, your father's going to be in hospital for a while. But when we came in here, he was doing okay. I mean, I'm sure he could be better. But that's what your brother went a long way to explaining.
Just what it's supposed to happen.
Tell us their favorite show was The Have and Have Not.
I haven't have not, so I couldn't stand it. I always say, hey, come watch it, Liz, come watch it, Liz. I never do. So look at me. I love it. You could always find them every night on that couch.
He told us that same thing. He told us that y'all turned the gas on last night and it just didn't work.
I told you we did it.
Well, he just kind of said the gas. He was kind of vague, but that the gas was turned on and put candles out.
Last night, me and my parents got into it. And me and my dad, like, both got these horrible tempers. And we got into it and something just snapped. And we were from the bed. Trying to suffocate him. Didn't work a bullet, okay, something. Was the bed.
So is that not right what your brother said? Y'all started fighting last night?
My dad got into it. My first tried to calm me down. He's always trying to separate us. He's the most calm, level-headed one. I tried to sleep it off, but I couldn't. It was like, I don't know, it was like, my body was moving in behind, but I was just watching it ride. I grabbed the gun. He tried to take it from me, hit him in the eye.
Your brother or your dad?
My brother.
Neither brother elaborated on who did what to their mother. However, what they did both provide was a better look into their family life and a better understanding of their family dynamics. With surmounting feelings of being emotionally neglected, barely seeing their parents on a daily basis, and feeling that they couldn't live up to their parents' expectations, one can begin to see how this seemingly picture-perfect family could have raised children who held so much resentment towards them that Cameron would later admit to harboring this murderous rage since the age of 11. Cameron would say that he and his dad were close, but when he quit the football team and became a drummer in the marching band, his dad grew distant and wouldn't even come to his performances to show him support. There were incidents of him staying out past curfew or having girls in the home unsupervised, and some outlets even made mention to him abusing drugs. Speaking of speculations, the entertainment blogger, Sandra Rose, will report that someone wrote into her blog and stated that Cameron was dating a popular Atlanta stripper, and he may have been motivated to kill his parents for their insurance money in order for him to be able to continue to supplement her lifestyle. But I was unable to find any additional information to support this theory.
He told us about growing up at your house. It's protected. Is there anything you want to tell us about that?
Growing up at my house. Sometimes it was easy, sometimes it was very hard. I just always felt like I never belonged there. They usually showed love most of the time. Even when they didn't, sometimes I knew why.
Why is that?
I mean, I know I get out of control sometimes, and I'm just fucking temperament.
He told us he felt like your dad never treated you very well because you didn't play football. Did you feel like that?
All the time. Until I was about 14, my dad really didn't pay me any attention. I just played football when I was younger. When I quit, he acted like he didn't want me to be the son anymore. And then finally, my freshman year, I got back on the team. I hated it so much, but I'm happy. But I love music. times a week if I was lucky. They're always gone. When I do see them, sometimes they're excited to see me, but sometimes they're just...
Christopher spoke of a similar distant relationship with his parents, but said he and his father used to be close when he was in high school and on the football team. Once he graduated and enrolled in college to pursue a professional football career, over time, the strain from intense practices, trying to maintain good grades, and working a part-time position took a toll on him, and after a year, he transferred to another university. Once there, and finding out that all of his credits wouldn't be transferring to his new school, Christopher dropped out of school altogether and enrolled in the U.S. Air Force. Throughout this time, his father was disappointed that his son didn't finish pursuing his degree in higher education, but felt that the military was a suitable alternative and supported him throughout the process. But 2 months later, he would be discharged, with Christopher citing severe panic attacks as the reason why, whereas other reports stated that he had actually failed a drug test and was kicked out. Either way, he ended up having to move back to his parents' home, which caused extreme tensions between him and them. They seemed to remain hopeful through his use of marijuana in high school and his partying in college. However, one can assume that their hopes for him to secure a lucrative job was beginning to look slim. Also, he had begun to abuse Xanax on a daily basis. He would say that after his discharge from the Air Force, he applied to numerous places but couldn't secure a job. Then weeks prior to the murder attempt, he had crashed his car while high on Xanax, and at this point, his father barely would even speak to him.
I don't care. You know what they used to ask me? Why is all this happening to you, Chris? You just wrecked your car. You totaled your insurance. You don't have a job. You're not in the Air Force. Why? What is it that you're doing? God is trying to show you something. He's trying to let you know that's something that you're doing. He's just not happy with.
What? Like, did she just say that God was doing this to you? And you? What do you say or something like that? I mean, you just like...
I was like, was that supposed to be a motivational speech?
Due to the tensions constantly present within the Ervin home, Christopher and Cameron had forged a close bond to help them cope. During a point in their separate interrogations, detectives allowed Christopher to sit in with his brother, and during the initial 3 to 4 minutes, they would just embrace each other tightly. They would spend over an hour consoling each other, discussing their arrests, and preparing for the consequences of their actions. Here are some snippets from that conversation.
Mom and Dad are okay. They're both going to testify against us, but at least it's not going to be murder. Attempted murder, but not murder. It's different. That's what I'm saying. Just being honest. I'm not going to let you do this by yourself. Listen to me. Listen to me. These officers come in here and ask you what happened again. Just tell them the truth. It's going to show when they look at the house for evidence. You know what I'm saying? Mom and Dad were witnesses to everything that happened. I helped. Okay? You did not do that on your own. And don't try to take that on. I'm not going to let you. Feel me?
A few weeks after the assault, to the surprise of investigators, friends, and the general public, Mr. and Mrs. Ervin, with Yvonne still sporting black eyes and facial swelling, not only visited their sons in jail, they also gave statements to the media in full support of their children, saying that they forgave the boys, while also advocating for them to receive minimum prison sentences.
We forgive our sons, we love them unconditionally, And we had to make sure that they understand that.
And there are consequences for what they did. They understand that. But we're just praying that the world forgives them in the same way that we forgive them.
On November 8th, 2016, which also happened to be Cameron's 19th birthday, he and his brother Christopher, represented by court-appointed attorneys, accepted a plea deal. They both pled guilty to 13 felony charges, including aggravated assault and arson. During their hearing, the brothers' parents, other relatives, and friends would address the court. They all spoke highly of the siblings, specifying how smart, mild-mannered, and good-natured they were, in the hopes that the assault would be viewed as an isolated incident provoked by drugs and untreated mental health issues. I do feel that I should include the fact that although the use of drugs would be mentioned by both brothers and their parents as what helped to precipitate the assault, neither Christopher or Cameron received a drug test that night, so it never could be confirmed.
And today is actually his birthday. And I also would ask for special requests if I can.
Yeah.
That we be allowed to hug us. I'm sorry.
Christopher would address the court during his sentencing hearing and state, "Before I came here, before I was arrested, I honestly was at the lowest point in my life. After graduating high school, I increased drug use to the point where it became not only something that I felt that I needed to have to cope through my days, but it was also something that hindered me from being my best." Cameron would also provide a statement saying, quote, "I spent so much time in my life holding a grudge and hate in my heart against my family, my parents especially, for things that they did in the past, even though it was for the best, and I didn't realize it. I tried to combat that with drug and alcohol abuse. I now realize how much I love them, and I realize how much they love me." Since they made the decision to opt out of going to trial, the brothers' sentence would be left solely up to the judge presiding over the case. And fortunately for Christopher and Cameron, the big outpouring of support they received seemed to have made a positive impact on the judge's decision. Because instead of the brothers potentially receiving the max sentence of life, plus an additional 160 years, the judge gave them a total sentence of 50 years, with 20 years to be served in federal prison with a mandatory minimum of 10, and the remaining 30 years on probation. Following the verdict, Yvonne and Zachary started a nonprofit organization called Fighting for Forgiveness Incorporated, whose mission is committed to assisting those who are experiencing depression, thoughts of suicide, and trauma by giving them access to counseling, peer mentorship, and medical attention. As of 2022, the parents continue to support their sons by visiting them often, with Christopher even stating in his social media profile that he is the founder of his parents' organization. This concludes this video. I just wanted to thank everyone that has listened and that continues to support me. I hope that this is a story you never heard of before, that I did it justice. If there's anything that you feel as though that you have questions about, please include it in the comments and I'll be sure to answer. So again, I appreciate all of you guys for being here, watching everything, and just know that even though I don't post as often as I want to, because I'm really trying to learn how to post faster, but I am here, I'm still working, and I still definitely plan on giving you guys way more videos in the near future. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you at the next video. Bye.